Hi guys, good afternoon. It's 4 p.m. CT, 3 p.m. London. It's time this week for crypto market update. Piotr here, and this is a not the FX, not indices, but crypto market update, Friday, 16th of August. Good afternoon. Let's start with the risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk. Crypto will not be suitable for investors. There is a loss of some initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Good. There was some audio issue. Hopefully everything is alright right now. Anyway, let's switch to the chart. And as we can see, that's the weekly chart of the Bitcoin. And yeah, doesn't look great from the bull's perspective. If you remember a week ago when we were doing a crypto market update, we were closer to 12.5. Right now, we are testing 10K. And everything is clear based on the daily chart, in my opinion. That's what we discussed, and you cannot say that you haven't been warned. The thing is that would be great to try to build as big lower shadow as possible towards the end of the week. Eventually next week, again attempt to go lower, and again building lower shadow and closing above 10K. As you can see here from the weekly chart perspective, right, that's what we are fighting for, right? And previously this level used to work as a demand, and we saw the rally, right? The thing is, it's gonna be better visible on a daily based on the equal waves. The thing is that losing this zone, we are opening the way towards next zone, and that's another 20 to 25% lower. We are talking about the levels between 8,500 to 7,800, so in between 15 and 20% lower, right? So then we are talking about this high, pre-crash high, right? Pre-crash high, and that could be the case. And as you are going to see within the next few minutes, based on the daily chart, that's the possibility right now. Anyway, if you remember one of our meeting, crypto related, we were discussing about the Bitcoin, and we were trying to compare Litecoin chart half years or 6 months ahead of the halving with Bitcoin chart. So here we still have like 2-3 months, right? We are talking about the halving in May 2020, so we might see some kind of the pullback consolidation around the October, November, and then start the really big rally, right? Hopefully that's gonna be the case. So we know where we are from the weekly chart perspective, so let's switch to the daily chart right now. That was probably some intraday, and intraday. All right, now based on what we discussed on the equal waves, they are visible here, and we were discussing them previously, right? So I didn't delete anything from that chart. As you can see, the wave here, and looks like because of the rejection around the top of the channel, right, looks like something between 8,500 7,800 is going to be possible here, guys. I'm not trying to create the food, any kind of the food. It's simply what I can see from the chart, unless we are going to be able to hold this 10K, right? So let's make some cleanings on the chart. those equal waves. Let's remove them. Okay, unless we are going to make some changes on the chart, meaning that maybe this time is a little bit different, and in case we are going to be able to hold 10k, right, we might talk without this lower shadow that would be the case, right? So after really such a correction and trying to hold 10k, and if that's the case, then this type of the rally we might see in, and 12,700, right? That's how it could work from the bull's perspective. Okay, sounds good, isn't it? Sounds good. Okay, so let's switch even lower. Let's try to create some trading plan. Let's remove this as well. Please remember about yesterday candle. We are going to take that one into the consideration, discussing the possible scenarios, right? So we are on a 4-hour chart right now. This failure here, we can remove it as well. Now, I think that's why I've mentioned that we should take this yesterday candle into the consideration, talking about this low here. All right, so there are some stops towards 9,500. So what I would like to tell you is this move to the downside to hit these stops cannot be ruled out, and it's 5% below 10k, right? If it's going to happen with the very long lower shadow, that's fine. In case of the break and close below, that's bearish. All right, right now, taking into the consideration where we are, what happened, the good thing is that bulls managed to get back above 10k, right? And because of what we have here, it's intraday, so let's change the color. Because of what we have to the left and this break here, okay, I think, taking into the consideration those two lower shadows right now over here, right, that as long as we hold that level, we might activate this demand, right, and we might see higher level. What happened here? What was the reaction here? The reaction over here, the retest of the 10,500, it was a retest of this supply, right? Drop base continuation, right? And because we take out the latest demand, that's probably the reason of the first failure here, right? Now, the next supply is this breakout. Point, all right, and it's around 10,800. And if you remember, we were talking 11,000 and 10,800 previously as a demand, which was broken to the downside, right? But I see 10,800 as a possible target for the longs, based on, again, on some equal waves, as you can see, all right? So I have something like 800 to the upside, so I can risk something around 2 to 50 to get 3 to 1 risk reward ratio. So I'm looking to buy, pull back down towards 10k, maybe 9,900, 10k, something around these levels, to try to I'm going to try to trade that lows over here, right? It's 10,000, 9,900, 9,800. That's what I'm gonna try to do from the long side perspective. If you are a bear, right? As you can see, going back to daily chart, this higher level towards 10,800, 11,000 is, as you can see, there is a orange color, meaning supply based on the intraday chart, as well as a green color, meaning supply based on the daily chart. So I would say that if you want to short it, you want to short it closer to 11,000 instead of trying to short it 10,500, right? That you might be trapped here, okay? So I think you do prefer, in case you are a bear, you're looking for a possibility to sell, it's higher towards 10,800, 11,000 in my opinion, right? And your first target is gonna be, again, 10k psychological level. The second target, the zone between 8,500, 7,800. So we have both scenarios, bullish and bearish, depends on what's your market view, right? Let's talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum looks even worse than Bitcoin versus dollar. And of course, we are not going to discover America. It's enough to check what is going on between Ethereum and Bitcoin directly, right, on the chart. And we are below 0.02. So that's what we discussed previously, right? And it's bearish. Now, that's the weekly chart. And it's all about weekly close, right? Would be good from the weekly chart perspective to try, because we are not able to hold this latest manipulation. We were trying twice, one ahead of the rally, second 2 weeks ago, attempt to rally, failure, and we are breaking lower, and that's horrible right now. That's, in my opinion, that's horrible right now. All right, the break, as you can see, we're trying to create swing low, 3 lower shadows, and this week we are breaking lower. And to be honest with you, it doesn't look good. Now, there are few less important levels, but maybe we are going to react to try to close the week above 200. That's the key. Trying to close the week above 200. So maybe the bottom of this candle created in the middle of the May, the week in the middle of the May. So that was the breakout candle. So the bottom of that candle might work as a demand. Actually used to work once already, as you can see, 4 weeks ago, month ago, the lower shadow over here, right? And then we have this rally base continuation. So the next possible zone, I think, is somewhere around 170. The levels we are testing right now, these upper shadows, this upper shadow, this previous resistance right over here. But again, don't get me wrong, if we are going to get the close, weekly close like this, it's very negative, it's bearish. And retest of 80 cannot be ruled out. Retest of these lows cannot be ruled out in that case. Is it possible? Of course it is. Of course it is. We will see. Let's switch to the daily chart. And as you can see, we are testing. The blue color represents weekly, green color represents daily. As you can see right now, we are fighting around the zone created on both weekly and daily. So yeah, maybe we are going to see the fight and move back above 200. And that's very important, especially from the weekly chart perspective. from the bulls perspective and from the weekly chart perspective, we need to get back above 200 to try to neutralize the current situation on the market, right? To try to switch from bearish to, let's say, neutral. I'm not gonna say bullish because it's the close above 200 is not gonna be bullish. The bullish might be the close above 245, 250. Okay, so we created for Bitcoin, we created both scenario for bulls and bears, so buying and selling opportunities, right? Here on Ethereum, I think right now, as long as we are below 200, as long as we are below this latest consolidation, right? I'm not taking lower shadows into the consideration. So here, if you see the rally back, attempt to rally back and retest 200, and then 50% of that range, 215, that's for now 2 selling levels, right? If you are a bull and you cannot move the market, you have to be patient. You have to wait for what the big guys are going to do. Okay? You have to check what the big guys are going to do. So bulls who are not able to push the price higher are waiting for a weekly close above 200. Bears are looking for opportunity to sell on rally back towards 205 and 215, 205, 215, and the first possible target is around 160, 150. Only move and close above this consolidation is, from the daily chart perspective, is switching to neutral from bearish. So on weekly we need at least above 200. Here on daily would be great to try to take out the top of that consolidation and try to activate this demand here. Okay. And finally, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. No change in view. Very bearish, especially below 0.02. Again, discussed previous week as well. So what we need to see here from the bullish perspective, and if you think about the overall alts rally, first you want to see Ethereum going back versus Bitcoin above 0.02. If that's not going to happen, in my opinion, we are still going to see bloodbath, blood on the street, when we are talking about the altcoins as a whole, right? So it doesn't look good from the weekly chart perspective. There was over the course of the week, right? Tuesday, there was an attempt to get back. Thursday, we spiked towards 0.02, but rejection, right? Now, there is a little bit light in the tunnel. There is a little bit light of the tunnel. What I'm talking about? Let's talk about this range created on the 9th of August. All right. We were trying to escape through the high. We even close above. We were trying to rally, right? Unfortunately, failure. But if we can hold 50% of that range, if we can hold Wednesday low, yesterday low, if we can rally off that levels right now, right here, that is a little bit of the light in the tunnel from the bull's perspective. So trying to hold half of that range which has been created on the 9th of August. Okay? If that's not going to happen, more weakness to come, and it's going to be it's gonna affect not only Ethereum, it's gonna affect the whole alt sector. Right? Now there was a few different explanations of the latest blood on the street. Some were trying to explain that it's a SEC related. Some were trying to explain that it was selling because of some Ponzi scheme, Asian Ponzi scheme liquidation of $3 billion worth of the coins. Probably each of the explanation has a little bit of the true inside, right? And that's how I understand the things. But going back to Bitcoin, for me as a chart guy, of course, it works a little bit different on the crypto space than on other financial instruments. And yes, again, each of that explanation partially was true, but I think that the biggest thing behind the move to the downside on Bitcoin was simply this failure here. When we are testing, we need 2 points to create, guys. That's the key, right? That's what I'm trying to explain always when we do Forex, when we do indices, right? When you have 2 points and you can create the line, jeez. It's not gonna happen for me today. Anyway, when you have 2 points, you need 2 points to create the line. Then usually when there is a third point tested first time, usually you are going to see the reaction. That's how it works. So that was one of the reasons, in my opinion. Of course, I'm trying to find the explanation that Ponzi scheme, Asian Ponzi scheme liquidation because of the SEC and other stuff, probably partially true. But we were talking about this previously when we were covering crypto, right? So trying to summarize our meeting today, again, from the Bitcoin perspective, if you are a bull, you want to see 10K holding, you are switching to lower time frame, and you are trying to take the advantage of what we've seen previously, right? So we were able to get back above 10K. We have 2 lower shadows within the last 8 hours. Good. We have retest. So 10K, 9,800. That's probably buying opportunity with the stop below latest low and the target towards 10,800, right? If you are a bear, based on what we have on a daily, you want to wait for this 10,900, maybe 11,000, so retest top of the channel again, and that's where you want to take the advantage of the top of the channel as a short seller. All right? So guys, pretty much that's it from me. It was my pleasure to be with you here today. In case of anything urgent, I'm going to make an update, of course. Please recharge your battery over the weekend, and I promise you the market will be open again. Depends on your region, Sunday or Monday. So have a great one and see you next week. Goodbye, guys. Take care.
It would be great. Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.